Here we go. Awesome. So thanks everybody for joining us today. So I'm going to talk a lot today about getting leads with Facebook and building out your brand. So a lot of your branding stuff is going to start inside of Command, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your Facebook business page. And if you haven't made one, that's totally fine. It's so easy to set up. You can set it up in just a few minutes. And if you have set one up, I can kind of show you guys some tips and tricks on like growing that as well, which everyone can use in general. And then we'll talk a little bit about Facebook ads. So with that, I'm inside of Command. So agent.kw.com with your KW credentials, you log in. And so one of the first places you really have to make sure you have filled out is in your settings. If you click your name in the top right, and we're going to go to your marketing profile. And so the reason I say to start here is because this is where all of your branding starts to get pulled from the first spot. So on the left, you'll go into Connect Settings and Marketing Profile. And so in here, you can see I've got my photo, I've got a logo. So this one, even though it says team logo, if you're a solo agent that's building out your own brand, this is where your personal logo is going to be. So with that, I'm going to change mine out. This is not the normal account I work out of, so I have stuff all over the place here. So I've got a cropped logo for myself. It looks kind of squished, but when it's on my website, it stretches out. So if it looks a little funky when you load it, don't worry. The only thing I will note with this part, when it pulls for your website, if you have a square, it's going to seem really small on your site. But if you make it so it's more of a rectangular shape, it's going to spread it out more so people can actually read it. So think about that with the formatting of your logo when it comes to that portion. It does have a recommended size, which is why it looks like it's freaking out over here, but it'll make sense later. And then just make sure that everything else in here with the red star or anything else that you want on here is filled out. So when it comes to the solo people, and here when you have that team section right into your name, I changed mine to Hometown Girls because that is the name of mine and my mom's partnership combination. So that is what we have it named. And it's going to be the drop down that shows up on your agent site. So if you don't have anything in here, it's going to say like your agent, or if you have a team, you're going to want your team name there or whatever your brand is. So that way people know they can click it and they know it's you. Make sure you have your job title as realtor in there. And if you need that little R logo, I literally Google little R logo and copy and paste it. So that's how I get it in there because I don't know the keyboard trick. And then update your bio. I haven't changed this. This is not the site I usually use. And then just make sure your phone number, your office phone number is in there. You've got your website link in here. And if you haven't set that up, that's a different class. I'm not going to go over that today. Your email. And if you ever need to update your email, this is where you have to come and then it'll populate on your website and it'll be able to transfer over to the design section when you are using those as well. It'll have all your brokerage information in here. If it needs to be updated, you can do that. For compliance in the legal footer, I went ahead and put the franchise ownership statement in here just to cover my basis, as well as adding the equal housing and realtor logos. If you need either of those, you can ask any of us agent services people. I think I just found mine on Google too. Super easy to find them. And then you can get like white ones and things like that. But for the websites, for us, use the black ones because none of the backgrounds are dark colors. And then any social stuff, I clearly haven't added it in on this one. But when you get your Facebook business page, you're going to want to put that in here. So I could put the Tacoma one. If I had a Twitter, I could put it in here. For new agents, I know it's already going to be automatically populated with anything from Keller Williams International. And you can leave it that way if you don't have anything, or you can delete them and only have what you are on available if you don't want to confuse anybody. And then if you do sign up for your Google Analytics information, you can throw that in here. And then in the very bottom is your branded KW link. That we can't change, but it's going to automatically populate in there for you. So if you ever need a copy of it, you can find it here and several other places. So I'm going to go ahead and save my marketing profile. And it's going to say I saved it. And then in the top, I'm just still going to make sure that this toggle is on for using the brand my agent site. So any changes I make is going to be updated onto my website. So that's one of the first places you want any of your personal branding to go. The second place is actually going to be inside of designs. So if you click on that red KW and pop these out, we're going to go into the third from the bottom into designs. And this is kind of a weird way to get here, but if you don't have any designs, that's totally fine. What we're doing is we're just trying to get into the design system to add in all of your logos and your photos so you don't have to constantly add them in every single time. So if you don't have a design in here, that's totally fine. Just press the blue button into the bottom right. And I'm just going to pick any of these. I'm just going to pick social just because that's the easiest one. And we're going to let this load. And designs typically is the longest to load. So if it's a little slow for you, that's okay. But today it is running very, very smoothly. So where we're going for adding your branding is in the very top, you get these three options, and we're going into the option that says My Assets. So it's the very last one near the top on the left. And in here, you can save like your color palette, like if you are a black and gold kind of person, or if your logo has like blues and things like that, and you want to have those colors readily available, you can quickly add them in. If you have the color codes, you can put them in. Very easy to just come in here and select whatever colors you like. Make sure I have a black one. Go away. I'm going to make sure I've got, I don't know, maybe I've got green going on. So these are whatever colors that you want your branding to be. And some people have the coloring in their logos. Some people want the coloring on their graphics. So just think about that. And you can add as many color palettes as you want as well. So you can name them. So you could say like logo colors, or you could say like graphic colors. Just depends on what you're looking for. And then if you have specific fonts that you want, the system has fonts in here, but maybe there's one that you downloaded that's good for commercial use off of defont.com. And you're like, I really want to add that font in here so I can use it on my graphics. You can add them and upload them. You just have to have a certain type of file. So if you are getting free fonts from online, just make sure they can be used for commercial or 100% free use, so you don't have any issues with like trademarking or anything like that. But if you download them off of like defont.com, they give you a .ttf file, and you can just click and drag these in here. I just uploaded a bunch myself. Let me see if I can get one. I was doing all kinds of stuff over the weekend, you guys. So let's see. I just have like random ones in here. So here's a TTF file. And so I can upload this file, and then that font is going to get loaded in to this account. So it's not one that Command already has, but it's one that I know I'm going to be using for my branding. So if there's a specific font that you're really liking, you can find something similar online for free use. Just make sure that you have the rights to use it. And then you can keep going through all these options off to the left-hand side. So you can preload your logos in here. So I've got that watermark logo that I uploaded into my marketing profile in here. And if you have different versions, like a white one or what have you, so that way it shows up on different color backgrounds, you can add them all in here. You can even have different folders. So if you wanted to make sure you had all of your Market Center logos, this would be a good place to do it. So you just upload, download them, and if you need your Market Center logos, we are here to help with that. Oh gosh, let me see if I can find them. It's been a while since I've had to use them. Let's see. Here we go, 278 Tacoma. These are our logos. So I'm gonna upload just a few of them. And you wanna make sure you got the PNG files if you wanna make sure you have that see-through background for all of your graphics. There's a couple of them in here. And so if they pull in with a black background, but that is just them with it's gonna be them without the background. So if I upload them, you're gonna see that it pulls through and has this like checker. That means it's gonna be transparent in the back, so you have no issues with it being put onto graphics. So make sure you have your DVA logos in there and your personal for easy use. There's also smart text. So this would be like your name, your phone number, your email, your website. whatever you want to have saved so that you can easily populate any text inside of designs when you're making social posts, flyers, etc. Any images, so this would be like your headshots. Go ahead and pre-put them in here if you've got a few different ones, if you've got a transparent one. If you need a tool that will remove the background, there is a free one online that we can post the link for you guys and share it out later as well. It's free, it's really easy. We use it, or at least I use it. Elements, those would be more like, I don't really use elements, but it's more like stickers or like how on Instagram they have like those like moving emojis. It's like that kind of thing. But most people don't use those in designs. Videos, you can have videos in here. I don't have any. And then files, I haven't seen anyone use those, but mainly the main things you're going to use in here are your colors, the logos, smart text, and your images. So just make sure you have whatever you wanted uploaded in this area. And so then that way, when you are looking at these social templates, let's say I'm going to choose one for lead generation, and I'm going to use it, or maybe I'll do buyer. Let's see. So maybe you want to do a snap one, and they've got the social square post. And so you can drag anything in here, all of your information, or if you're going to do a listing and you've got like a price update flyer and you want your name and phone number on here, you can easily just populate it in as long as that asset piece is filled out. I'm just going to make like a quick social post. I don't know. Let's see. You could do a home value. Let's look at the squares. So like you can use this, what's your home worth post? Didn't know you guys were going to come for designs today, did you? So you can see on here, it's got the DBA and it can find out how. So with the DBA logo, I uploaded one already. So I've got my assets and it automatically populates everything in here. And as long as this is clicked, you can use this little replace logo button and it's going to replace it. I would obviously use like the all white one, not the one with the red K-dub on there. And then if you wanted to add in like your personal logo, let's see. I'm going to add this one on here and then I can just resize it, place it how you want. Call that good. And then say if this is done and you use the right DBA logo, I didn't have the all white one in there. Say you're done, you can download it as a PNG, a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF. For social, you want to make sure you use PNG. Social media prefers it because it's a higher quality. So if you are going to use it, just make sure it's PNG for social. And then you would just download it and you can use it in many ways. I'm going to download it just for reference for what we're going to do later, even though it's not perfect. So this will not end up on my social page. All right, so that's one of the last places you want to make sure your designs is all set up for. And so now let's talk a little bit about business pages. Who has made their business page already? Awesome, Jeff's got one, hopefully a few others. So I'm going to pop into Facebook. Awesome. And mine is not perfect. I'll tell you that right now. I still have to audit through mine, but I'm going to show you guys some examples of people who do have a really good one. So I know Jensen's got one. He's in our office and he is very consistent with his branding and the way he posts on social media. So on this, I have to move you guys around. So he does have a banner. And so he's got his logo over here. He's got his DBA logo and he does luxury. So he's got the luxury logo on here. And he qualifies for it, which is why he can use that logo. So one of the things that I would say about the banner is that on the phone, they shrink. So you might see this beautiful picture on the website, but when you're on your phone, it goes down to a square. So if you're thinking about your banner in a picture, you want to try to center as much text as possible. So then on your phone or your website on the full desktop version, it looks the same and very similar. So that way it's not getting cropped off in any way. So if you want your logo in that branding in the top picture of your site, make sure it's more in the center. So that way when it closes it in on your phone, you are still seeing it and reading it very easily. But you can see that he posts and he has consistency with his branding. So he's got his logo. He's really into the black and gold. So everything that he does tends to have that coloring. So he's got just sold, black and gold posting, and you can see all of his photos here on the side, black and gold. He is sticking with those branded colors. So he has committed to that. I know he did a full rebranding last year, and so those are the colors he's committed to. And so when you're posting about things, or if you're sharing things like just sold or home values, you want to stick with those kind of things if that's your branding colors. So that's why he's very, very consistent. He has his name and phone number on everything. So that way, if people do have questions, they know exactly who they're talking to, and it's staying top of mind and consistent with those things. So as you're making your page, think about that. Keep it in mind. And you can see he's bringing lots of value. He is bringing videos. He's posting about stats. He's talking about mortgage rates. He's bringing the value to the client. So that's why people are following him. He's got, how many people does he have on here? He's got 1,500 people that like his page. And he probably has that many because he's so consistent. And so people know what they're expecting from his page, and they know his look and brand. So that's probably why he has so many people, and he probably just knows a ton of people. And I can see that some of our agents even follow him. And I don't mind following other agents because it gives me great ideas of like what my page could do and what others can do. So his is a really good example of being consistent with your branding and growing it over time. So he posted 20 hours ago. He posted a few days before that. So he posts at least 2 or 3 times a week. But you just want to make sure they're filled with value. And that's part of the thing with Facebook. So if you haven't made a page, super easy. You don't have to make a whole new Facebook or anything like that. And when you're signed in, you can just go and you can create your own page. It's super easy. I can never remember where it is, but it's here. Let's see. Pages. Nope. I have so many accounts I'm connected to. I do this all the time and I always forget. Here we go. Pages. And if you need to make a new page, the create new page button. And it's going to walk you right through it. I'm not going to go through it just because I don't need another page made. I've got like 10. But you can add your photo. So in designs, if you've got your assets in there, you can pre-make a website banner. It's all under your business basics and social. There's banners in there. They've got ones that say for the love of real estate, which are really popular. You can use stock images, throw your logo on it, and then you've got a nice banner. You'll name your page, add your photo. And so as you're filling these things in, it's going to give you everything you need. Your category, it's more than likely going to be real estate as you type it in. Your brand name, so it could be your name, homes, your name, living, your name, properties, but not real estate or realty, because those are not allowed under marketing guidelines. Keep it in mind. And if you do need information on marketing guidelines, there is a recording of a class that Eric did, one of the DBs. So if you have any questions around that, we can send that recording too, because I'm not going to dive into too much of that. You'll add your description and then you make a page. You only need those little things filled out and your page is made. And then at that point, you can start adding your posts. You can add all your contact information. One of the things with Facebook and social media is that your DBA and your office information has to always be one click away. So that means they have to be able to see where you're from. So that means your website and it has your DBA information on it. Or if you have your office information on this page anywhere, that's really helpful as long as they can get to it within one click and they know where you're located at. So for us, I have my description of where I'm located as my office address here at Tacoma, and it even has Keller Williams Tacoma in there too, so they know which office I'm a part of. So keep that in mind when building out your page. I'm not gonna keep building that out. Any questions on that part? Cool. And there is a view section in here so you can see what it looks like on your phone. It does not crop out the image like that. It actually cuts it off, just by the way, like I mentioned earlier. Cool. Showed some pages. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Facebook tricks. So if most of you may be new agents, so when it comes to your posting with Facebook, to stay consistent, you want to make yourself a content calendar. So start to make a list of like posts and things that you know you can rely on. So from the office, at the beginning of every month, you're going to get market statistic graphics. You get the link to be able to edit those inside of Canva really easily. So you can change the colors, you can add your logo, all that fun stuff. So you'll know that, okay, at the beginning of the month, I at least have market stats for one portion of my week. Then maybe you want to update about like new homes that are on the market, how many went pending each week. I have someone in my office who posts every single day about new listings and new pendings. So he's been doing that since the beginning of the pandemic, and it's been crazy to watch how the numbers have varied. So he does consistent posting on that daily. Again, you don't have to post daily, but some people like to. You can talk about relevant topics that are happening in the market. You could talk about home maintenance. You could talk about things like home projects or community events, or just so that way you start to feel top of mind and you're being more consistent in the community, and it shows that you are participating and paying attention as well. So really knowing what's happening in your community, if it's like a fundraiser or like the town's got an event, like especially around Christmas, they've got like those Christmas lightings or things like that. Those are always really good things to come up with to post on. But for everyday posting, you've got access to Homekeeper, and that's a free account. They write a blog post like every 2 to 3 days, and it makes it look like you're the one that wrote it, and you can have it shared to your Facebook business page automatically. So that's an option. And with the stats, you get those once a month from us, totally made and ready to go. So you don't have to make those kind of things. So all of the consistent posting and everything is going to help you stay top of mind. If you've just made a business page, invite everyone you know to like that page. It gets you in front of everybody. Even if it's real estate agents. I have real estate agents from our office, and other offices invite me to their pages all the time, which is totally fine, because then at least we're connecting with our fellow agents as well as anyone that may be in our sphere. Because typically everyone you're friends with on Facebook, in some form or fashion. And I know that once we get our license, we start to get friend requests from like lots of inspectors and painters and those kinds of people, but they want to be on your page too. And they want to see what you're up to. So feel free to invite everyone to your page. Some other Facebook tricks is that with the Facebook algorithm is that Facebook really likes it when people go live for 5 minutes, for 5 to 10, 15 minutes, about that range. And that gets you out there and as long as you're live on your business page, it's going to share it out to lots of people. And they're going to let you know, like, I'm live. Anyone that likes your page, they're going to get a notification that you've gone live. Just make sure that when you do those things, it does have a form of value to it, whether you're talking about being a buyer in this market right now or being a seller in this market, expectations around the home buying process, that kind of stuff. Just something that's worth of value and relevant to your page. But Facebook will definitely share your page out a lot more if you are doing a live every once in a while. The pages that get lots of likes and grow huge followings go live at least twice a week. So that is just something you could build yourself up to if that's something you're into. It's not a requirement, but if you want to build your following, you can do that. I've also kind of learned that like Facebook is like a new form of farming. So like you may have like a neighborhood group page that you could share your business page content to. Like if it's market stats in your neighborhood wants to know what's going on, you can totally do that. So that way, as long as it's allowed on those pages, because I know those pages have rules. So just be aware of those too. But Facebook is a new form of farming, in my opinion, just because I've connected with my neighbors since the pandemic even more through it. And it's been kind of crazy to see how that's all grown and happened. So do keep that in mind. And that it's just a new form of farming. So some social ads. Has anyone run a social ad? Cool. Got some head shakes, some maybes. Did it go okay? Not so good? It went a little okay. Okay. So with your pages, so if you have done your business page, or if you haven't, or you still have to build it out, make sure that in your settings, once you click in here, you do have it connected. What you'll do is it'll have you sign in to your main Facebook page, and there's 2 of them you'll connect. One for social post scheduling, which we'll talk about after ads, and then another spot for the ads. and it's going to have you sign in with your regular Facebook account, and then it'll bring up all pages that you have created or that you're an admin of. So like I'm an admin of our office page, an admin of my real estate page, and a bunch of other ones. So I have a huge list. But it should connect every single business page. If you have any issues with it, just disconnect and reconnect. And it's just a few steps to help you get through that if you do have some issues. But for ads, you're going to go into the campaign section, which is like a little microphone. And I've done 2 ads. I haven't done a lot. And I'll pull them up to show you guys. I'm going to minimize you. You guys disappeared. Oh, where you went. So I'm going to go into the paid ad section here. Oh, it's not in this account. Let me log out of this one really quick so I can show you the examples. So because I'm a staff here in the office, I partnered up with my mom so I can use all of her account for our business stuff. That's why I have the 2 to sign it to. But for campaigns, little microphone. And then, it'll pop up here. Okay. So I'm going to click into the paid ads here. And so with our 2 ads, we've only run 2. And since we live over in the Kitsap area, it's where we've kind of done our focus a little bit. So we had an open house and I ran an ad on it. It lasted for 2 days. It had over 1,300 impressions, 109 clicks. So that means they clicked the learn more button, but not everyone decided to provide their information to be able to get the content out of it. And we got 16 leads out of it. So those are the 16 people that decided to click through, and all of their information went straight into my contacts. And so the reason that we are able to do our Facebook ads through the command platform is because we do have a partnership with Facebook. We are the only real estate company that has the partnership. And so when we run an ad and they click that button, they get a pop-up that says, are you okay with us giving your information to them? And they click, sure, yep, blue button. And then it gives them a confirmation screen like, yep, good to go. Take me to the site. And then it takes them to wherever you have directed them, whether it's your website or a landing page. So for this one, I did a landing page and it got me 16 leads. The second one we did just as a general ad, just about the house. We didn't do an open house. That one was only 2 days. I spent $12, over 600 impressions and 72 clicks, and then 12 actual leads came through. And so that was only a $12 one. Let me see if it'll show it. Maybe. Give me. Okay. So here is the preview of the ad. And what we did is it gives me all the MLS information, and I added in emojis to kind of strike the attention of those that are on Facebook just scrolling. The goal is to get them to stop scrolling. So emojis help with that. And so this was a big location one because it's in Bremerton near the highway, super easy, close to the base over there. And I included a few pictures. So 3 pictures, one of the kitchen, 2 of the outside because it is fully fenced. So I wanted to highlight the outside of the home on the ad, and then 1 portion of the inside. And what was nice about this one, it has a full detached garage/shop. So I was like, this one seems like a really good one to do an ad on. I did get permission from this agent to do this one. And so I made sure I did the follow-up with that with an email saying, you gave me permission to do this ad for 2 days. We're good to go. And so this just ran for 2 days, and you can preview it in desktop, mobile, all kinds of stuff. But the way I set it up is I went to create a new campaign, paid social ad, and advertise the listing. So I'm just gonna, and you have to name it. So you can name it like the address or the MLS number, whichever works best for you. And then you can choose to run your campaign on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram are connected. And that's another piece, is making sure that if you have a business page, set up an Instagram and set it up as a business. So that way you get the contact buttons and things like that in there. Cool. Oh, thanks, Kara. Yeah, sometimes it does take some time to get your business page request done. Anyway, getting distracted. So I'm going to just do Facebook, and I only ran this one on Facebook. Set up campaign. And it's going to automatically pull over and open the listing side because I said I'm doing a listing. I don't have any currently, so I would make sure I have permission to get someone's listing to share it out. I think, let's see who's got a listing. Steve's got some. Okay, so let's see. I got permission to use Steve's listing here in Puyallup. I'm not going to actually do this ad. This is just for the example. So it's going to bring you to the ad text. It pulls in the information from the MLS. So he has it listed as a charming farmhouse, offers 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, over 200 square feet, beautiful flooring, living room, dining, ceilings, cozy freestanding stove. That's cool. So I can take this and I can add things like all of your emojis. You just use your little smiley face here. Since the market is, you can add like a little house. You could add like the little fire emoji. So it's in a desirable area. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it up here a couple times. Offers the bedrooms. I'm not going to change any of that, but you could change some of this around based on what you know about the house and based on your conversation with the person you got permission from. If it's your listing, you can change it how you'd like as well. The headline, so you can see it's starting to fill it all in up here. The headline, I would put maybe, sure, let's go. Farmhouse charm in Puyallup, something like that. Then there's a description box. So this one, I typically just use the suggested one, and they have a few. So they've got, this could be, you could be coming home to this, schedule a private tour with me today, view photos and videos of the home. I tend to use just the schedule a private tour, and then I just click use the suggestion, but you can type in whatever you'd like. Note with the description part, it does not always show up when you're doing ads. It only shows up sometimes depending on where you're looking, whether it's a desktop or on your mobile. So don't put like all the details in this section because they're not necessarily going to show up the whole time. Moss, what does permission look like? So what I did is I looked up some listings and I called that agent and said, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah from Keller Williams Tacoma. I would love to be able to run an ad on your house because I would love to be able to help you try to sell it. Or there's tons of buyers out there and I want to help attract as many buyers as possible to help you sell it, etc. My Burlington one I did, I actually just asked a fellow KW agent out of our Southtown office. And they were like, yeah, go for it. Sounds good. And I just let her know like how long I was going to run it for. And then after our phone conversation, I just sent a follow-up email. So there was that, like the kind of a paper trail of the permission that was given. So that way, if she needed it for her files or anything like that, she could have it. And if I needed it, then we both have it. So just make sure you have that written portion of the confirmation if you got it verbally. So that way they can have it for their records and you can have it for yours. And then I'm just going to save my ad text. The ad media, so this is where you can add multiple pictures from the listing. So it talks about a lot of farmhouse charm. So I would try to find something that gave it or that really highlights it. And that may be a portion of the room. Like this has like some wood slats on the wall. It may be the front of the house. Just depends on what portion you want to highlight. I only add 2 to 3 photos on each of them. So that way it entices them to click through to see the rest of the house. So like if you get permission for one that's got like a crazy good looking kitchen, you may want to use like a picture of the kitchen, or if it's got some other really good piece in there that'll highlight it, I would say use something like that to really entice them to want to click through. So I just clicked one of the kitchen images. And I like to leave it wide and then keep in mind on the mobile, it's going to kind of crop it. The reason I'm going to use this one is because it does mention farmhouse and those are like a farmhouse style chair. So I'm going to stick with that. Just move that around, save the image. And so I'm just going to have those 2. And then I've got my logo for the office on here. perfect. I'm going to always click that ownership statement. So that way I cover my bases for marketing compliance, and save that. Now, this is the most important part when doing your ads, is the Facebook ad configuration. So with this, it's going to pull up your account. Let me see, you got a question? Yep, there we go. Perfect. So it's going to pull up your Facebook account, and then it's going to pull up all your pages. So I've got a few. So here's our real estate one. So I'm going to make sure you select your real estate one. You don't want it to go into the other pages if it's not relevant. And then the destination part is the most important piece. So with your Facebook ads, always use the Facebook lead generation form. The reason for that is because when they click through, that's how it gives you the phone number and email and their name, and it goes straight to your database. Anytime someone clicks through, you're going to get a Kelly notification or an email notification and a notification in this bell up here in the top right next to your name. And so it'll let you know every time you get a lead. And so that way you can contact them right away, or set them up on a smart plan that you set up, where it sends a text and then an email follow up, and then maybe puts them on something else to keep yourself top of mind for anyone that's new coming into your database. Or you could just call them. Depends on what you like to do. But this is the most important piece. When using the site and landing page, not everyone's going to fill out that form at the bottom because it's not required. But this is like a form of getting that contact information without having to do any hard work, and make sure you get leads for your money. And so make sure you always just use that first option. And even though you may have built out a landing page for this, still use this, because you have that destination URL right here, and you can choose that landing page it's going to guide them to. So that way you get that information and they're still getting their information that they want. And then the action labels, I tend to use either learn more, or these I really wouldn't do unless it was more for like a home buyer seminar, or some other type of ad. Maybe I was doing one for like a giveaway. They could sign up now, that kind of thing. But I tend to just stick with my learn more button. That way it's not as aggressive sounding. And then ad targeting, custom settings. I tend to adjust this as much as I can. So I can target a custom audience or my database. So that would be anyone that I'm friends with on Facebook. But I just stick with the custom audience, because even when scrolling on Facebook, I've seen my own ad based on the interests that I've chosen, or the radius around the property I chose. So the smallest radius you can go is 15. I don't know what the largest is. I've not tried to go the largest. But because it was in that area, I don't want to go too far out. I think I've done up to 30 miles. I'll choose 30 for this one. And then there's targeted expert targeting. So for different interests on here, I always recommend no more than 3 to 5. And because of that is the more that interest you put on this, the smaller the audience becomes. So if I come in here to add one, and we all know that if someone's looking to buy a house, they're more than likely checking out Zillow. Zillow is in here as an interest. And so with it, it gives me my estimated audience size of 34 million people. Is it going to get it to that 34 million people? No, but it's going to be whoever in that radius has expressed interest should get targeted with this ad. So I'm going to click that one. And then there's like a buyer one. So if you're looking to target first-time home buyers, you can choose that one. And that one's 24 million is the audience size on that. But again, it's going to stick with the people in that radius that have that interest. And it's not going to stick to just these interests. It's still going to target it out to the radius you've done as well on Facebook. This just helps it get it in front of those people first, so that way they can see it and get those clicks. And so at that point, I'm done. And those are all my important things, especially in the ad context, making sure you're getting the leads. And so I'm just going to save my Facebook ad. I know I need a landing page. Let me just pick one. I'm going to just choose my website. That is my old website. I did change it. It is now just Hometown Girls, not real estate. Don't come at me. So save, which I need to fix wherever that's coming from. Duration and budget. This is where I changed it to $12 for 2 days. So I spent $6 in 2 days per day. So you choose when it starts. You cannot start it the day you're making it. It's always gonna, so like today, if I got permission from someone, I could start it tomorrow or start it Saturday. But the soonest I can start it is on Friday. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. And then they reach it out pretty far, 10 days. I've seen people do 10 days. I think it depends on the kind of ad you're using. But right now, with how fast houses are coming and going off the market, I stuck with my 2 days and I got 12 leads. But you could do 2, 3, depending on what's going on. And I looked at her review date as well and asked her when she's planning to review offers. So that way I could gauge how long I could run it for. But I just did mine for a weekend. You can do it and test this out so you know how much you want to spend. Because maybe you might find a sweet spot between like 3 to 5 days, or you might find a sweet spot between 2 to 6. You'll find what works for you. And then you can change your budget. You can put just 15 total and you're spending $750 a day, and then you can save that duration. And so as long as everything's got that green check mark, you can publish it, and it takes a little while. It's going to go into an approval process. And then at that point, you'll get an alert when it's done and it's good to go, and it'll go out. I have noticed that it does go active on East Coast time. So if I start this tomorrow, it'll go out technically at 9 p.m. our time and 12 a.m. East Coast time. So keep that in mind as well, especially if you're doing this for your own listing, about your timing for when your listing is going live, because we can't promote it unless it's live. So just make sure you are knowing all your rules for compliance. Any questions about the ads? No. Okay. Cool. I have one last piece to talk about for getting your brand and sharing to make your life easier. It's still in campaigns. I'm not going to save this. So I'm going to back out of that. So in campaigns, this is more than just paid ads. You can come in here and schedule all your social posts for your business page. So that way, if you don't want to spend the time trying to remember to schedule out Valentine's Day, or you do a series of like home buying tips for a month or something, you can pre-schedule all that stuff out. And what's nice is that it'll tell you, I don't have any social posts today. You can do this out for a whole year even. So if you spend an hour or two, get all your holiday graphics put together, schedule them out, they're going to go out when you schedule them. One of the things that I really like about it is, I'm just going to press this create social post. You can write your post. You can add emojis like you normally would. And then you can add your design image. So if you made all of your holiday designs inside of designs, add them here. You can just browse your library. So I'm just going to pick one random. So I've got a Veterans Day one. So I can schedule out Veterans Day. I'll let it load for a second. And it's going to ask me for best placement. I obviously haven't customized this one. Crop the image to make it work for social, and it shows the square, which is perfect. And then DBA logo, if you don't have it, it's already in here since it's in my marketing profile. I can choose it to be on the left or the right. Include your ownership statement if you, especially depending on your post. I just click it all the time just to cover my basis. And then for the scheduling, what I really like is you can have it scheduled for a really random time. So I'm going to say, I'm not going to choose the right date. I'm just going to pick a random day. And I could really post it at like 10:07. So you can have those random time numbers so it doesn't feel like it was calculated to always be posting at 11, unless you create that consistency in your schedule that everyone just knows that you post at 11 o'clock. You can do that too. And you might find when people are most active on Facebook is right before bed, early in the morning before work, lunchtime. So you'll, depending on what you're posting, you may want to push it out a certain time of day to get the most attention to it. But totally up to you to figure that out as well. So like a Veterans Day post for holiday, I'd probably post it early in the morning. So that way it's gone out. I would probably post it around like 7. And you can preview your post as well before it goes out. So you'll see all your text and emojis, the image, and then what that looks like. And so it looks like on Facebook on my page. The page does not have that name anymore. I don't know why it's grabbing it that way. And then you just schedule it when it's ready. All done. Any questions on the social posting? And oh, And if you don't have any ideas on the social posting, there are some quick posts over here that KW has made for you. One's around credit score. They haven't updated these since the holiday season, but you could think about some of these things. Just change the verbiage. Being indoors. I think they've got things in here about like the flu season, staying safe inside during cold and flu season, getting fresh air, moving during a pandemic. So they do have some posts in here if you haven't used them yet that you can go ahead and schedule out and you don't have to think about it. There are a few things there for you. Awesome. That's all I have for you guys today. Is there any questions before we wrap up? People are thinking, no, head shakes, no.
I have a question, Brittany. On the KW logo, having the logo to fit 360 by 360, are you able to send that out?
Yeah, so what I did is I just resized it inside of Canva because you can create a canvas that's 360 by 360. And I think I have a version of it that I can send to you.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then do keep in mind that if you have other questions about marketing, talk to your coach, talk to your team leaders, talk to your DBs. They know all the rules. I myself am still learning, so I don't know all the answers, but everyone on your leadership team and your designated brokers, we're here to help you guys. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And you guys get 10 minutes, 12 minutes back in your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.